No, the media covers for him because we have a one state party media in this country, especially the fake news cable networks that push lies to protect Joe Biden and constantly slander President Trump all day. And the American people are seeing this contrast between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. They see President Trump withstanding hours and hours in a courtroom because of Joe Biden's witch hunt against him. Yet they see him going to a construction site in Manhattan at 6:30 a.m. Joe Biden was most definitely still asleep when that was going on yesterday. President Trump hosting massive rallies with thousands of people every single week, talking to the press, taking questions from the fake news. Then you have Joe Biden, whose aides have to surround him so he can walk to protect so the press don't see him shuffling. He cannot read off of a teleprompter. And it's, I guess it's fun to talk about, but this is serious stuff. Joe Biden's weakness has serious implications on the world stage. As
Right.
President Trump said, Vladimir Putin, President Xi in China don't take him seriously. And that's why our adversaries are getting stronger and America is getting weaker.
No, it's a great point. And we're talking about physical weakness now with Joe Biden. Let's be honest. This report from Axios, by the way, no fan of Donald Trump. This report this morning, they are accompanying him to and from Marine One so he doesn't fall on the South Lawn. OK, that's why that's actually happening. That's physical weakness. We're not talking about something that's not real at this point. Karoline, I want to talk to you about a report in the Washington Post yesterday. Protest votes in Pennsylvania primary loom over both Donald Trump and Joe Biden in November. So we talked about what happened with Joe Biden, a lot of uncommitted votes for him in Pennsylvania. But 155,000 people, 17% of the vote on Tuesday in the primary in Pennsylvania, voted for Nikki Haley and not Donald Trump. I'm wondering what percentage of the Haley vote might have been from mail-in ballots or people that may have voted via mail-in ballot before she dropped out almost 7 weeks ago. So I would imagine that it's a small percentage. What's the Trump campaign doing right now? And again, you got 6 months to go, but what's the Trump team doing to reach out to Haley voters?
There was a portion of those voters that were cast weeks ago via mail-in ballot. So that's the first thing. Second of all, we are reaching out to all Republicans, independents, and also disillusioned Democrats who are fed up with Joe Biden's policies and are going to realize on November the 5th that this election is a binary choice between a former president and President Trump, who secured our border, unleashed the might of our economy, restored peace throughout this world, versus Joe Biden, who is too weak to survive another 4 years in the White House, whose policies are terrible. Inflation and gas prices are increasing. We also see the border continues to be wide open. War is breaking out all over this world.
Okay.
It's going to get a lot worse before November. That's our message to those voters.
Right.
And we simply can't afford 4 more years of Biden.
Okay, but clearly Trump has still got a Nikki Haley problem. Why hasn't Haley come out and actually endorsed Trump yet?
I would disagree with you on that, Rob. I don't think there's a alleged Nikki Haley problem. Again, a lot of these
I'm
votes,
just basing that on what we saw in Pennsylvania. 17% is a significant percentage of the vote in Pennsylvania for Nikki Haley.
But there are millions and millions of people, more than 100 million people, who will vote on November the 5th, and they will determine the election. And there's 6 months to go.
Yeah.
And there's a great case to be made about why they should vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden. And the story that the media, unfortunately, is not covering is that uncontested vote in Pennsylvania. The fact that Joe Biden's base is the one that is actually very fractured. You see these Palestinian protests erupting on college campuses across the country. Jewish Americans are rightfully upset with how Biden has handled the war in Israel. You see African Americans moving towards President Trump by historic margins that we've never seen for a Republican candidate before. He is winning Hispanic Americans right now.
Karoline,
He's
just quickly,
women.
would Trump accept, because 80,000 votes is what decided Biden and Trump in Pennsylvania in 2020. It was 46,000 with Hillary Clinton in 2016. Would Trump accept the Haley endorsement? Just about 15 seconds.
I'll let the president speak on that himself. But our team is focused on bringing in voters of all stripes, Republicans, independents, disillusioned Democrats. If you want to make this country great again, stop Joe Biden's destruction, then you have to join Team Trump.